What's up everyone, welcome back to another video, weekly team selection video, finally deciding my wildcard, finally FPL is back, and now we have 10 game weeks in 40 days. We have midweek game weeks, we have weekend, so a lot of content to come, a lot of planning for our FPL team, so let's get straight in to this video. I'll have a quick look at how I got on in game week 11, although it was a week and a half ago now, and then we'll get on to my team selection for game week 12, and then I've got a little bit of an announcement and something special to talk about at the very end of the video. So starting off, I made one free transfer before playing my wildcard where I did Ayling to Reece James. Very happy with that move, and Ayling has been stinking up my squad since the very start of the season. Sadly, Sanchez in goal got me -1 with a red card. I'm sure a lot of you had Sanchez. I hope for more against Newcastle, if I'm honest. I wanted a clean sheet and he ended up on minus points, but it is what it is. -1 for Sanchez. The rest of my team performed pretty well. In defence, we had some strong performance for sure. James on 7, Cancelo 14, Trent 12, and Rudiger with 2. Very happy with that. Big at the back seems to be the way to go at the moment. A lot of us looking at double Chelsea defence, Cancelo, Trent. The sort of Chilwell or James, Cancelo and Trent defence is so sort of essential at the moment. If you don't have sort of those three in your team, make sure to make them a priority for the upcoming game weeks, for the Christmas schedule. They are scoring so many points and they are still very affordable as well. In terms of the midfield, Salah scored 10, doubled from 5 as my captain. Rafinha got 9, Foden 3 and Havertz 8. So really pleased with that. Foden did hit the post. He almost got a return to complete that strong midfield of returns. Assist for Salah, goal for Rafinha, goal for Havertz. What could have been a goal for Foden as well, but still very pleased with how they performed. And then up front, Antonio and Tony. No one's forwards are really doing anything at the moment, so 2 for them and 1 for Tony. So happy enough with how this team performed. Of course, the forwards I could have done with something there. Foden blank and Rudiger blank on top of the Sanchez red card, but still very pleased with how my team performed the game week before I played my wild card. I did leave on the bench Ben White. I was never going to start him over Rudiger, who had Burnley at home. White did get 8 points, so what could have been, I could have had an even better game week than I did, but still pretty happy with that. I did get 67 points all out, which was above the average. It moved my overall score up to 729, giving me a game week rank of 250k, which was very good. I was very happy with that. And given my overall rank before the game week was 150k, I knew I was going to play my wild card, so I kind of just wanted to get maybe a small green arrow, but I smashed it. I got a big green arrow, 150k up to 100k, literally exactly. When you look at my overall rank on FPL, it is 100k exactly. Never had that before, and it is quite satisfying, but pretty pleased with how that game week went the week before playing my wildcard. But of course, now let's have a quick look at how my team could line up, how my wildcard will look for game week 12. 100k, wildcard active, no money in the bank, of course, no transfers that I can use because it is active. So let's dive straight into that game week 12 team selection and how my wildcard is lining up now. So I think Ramsdale is where I will go in goal. Liverpool away, a difficult fixture this week, but I just really like what Arsenal can offer defensively. They've looked great. Their expected goals conceded are still really good, as they were last season, even though they had a weaker defence. I think they'll continue to perform well. The upcoming fixtures are a bit more difficult than I would have hoped for, which is why I have been tempted to even the likes of De Gea of Manchester United, Gaeta of Crystal Palace. They have a much better run of fixtures, but I just think set and forget Ramsdale for the rest of the season at his price of 4.7, I think is really nice despite the fixture this week. First up in the defence, of course, Reece James. Now, I have had the decision to make of whether I go Reece James or Chilwell because, spoiler, I don't have both of them in my wildcard anymore. Leicester away, James is probably better when he starts. If I knew they'd start the same amount of games, I would go with James over Chilwell every day. But the problem is Chilwell doesn't start. He doesn't come on as a substitute, whereas James does make those substitute appearances. So he does get those 1 or 2 pointers, which can be really annoying and block someone off your bench. But for the time being, I think James is nailed. He's looked so good. I can't see him getting that many rests. So he is starting for me in my defence. In the midfield next, we're jumping around a little bit to keep you on your toes. We've gone Gallagher of Crystal Palace. Now, they have a really nice run of fixtures. With Milivojevic potentially out of the team, I really like his prospects. I really like the points he can get. Without him in the team, he's on set pieces, a bit more creative. He's playing that sort of box-to-box role. I spoke about him in my wildcard videos, in my transfer targets video as well. Great fixture for them this week and a nice run of fixture over Christmas. And I don't see Gallagher getting rotated much. And given the upcoming packed schedule that we have, having those types of players who don't get rotated is really crucial. Next up, we go back to the defence and we have Cancelo of Manchester City. As I said before, James, Cancelo and then Trent, of course, will be in this team. I can't put together a team. I can't tell you enough about having these 3 in your team is so important. Cancelo in there, a good fixture this week, Everton at home. I did consider for him for my captaincy. It isn't who the armband is going to be on. There are a few other options I could go with, but for the time being, of course, Cancelo is in there as my second defender. To combine with him, I've stuck with Phil Foden. There is part of me that has wanted to move to Bernardo Silva. Foden is a bit more explosive, but a bit more hit and miss, whereas Bernardo Silva I can see just taking along a bit better. He started every game for Manchester City so far this season, once coming back from injury, which stops him playing in game week 1. Foden I just think is a bit more explosive, has that higher ceiling, so that's why I've gone with him this week. There is a small chance if I wanted to free up money that I would go with Bernardo Silva over Foden, but for the time being, Foden is the one in my team. Now, as I said, Trent is in here. Arsenal at home. Yes, Arsenal have looked better, although they've looked better maybe winning games 1 or 2-0 and not scoring that many goals. Still expect Trent to get some points this week, whether it's an attacking threat, whether it's with a clean sheet. I'm, of course, very happy to own Trent. It looks like Robertson won't be back. A lot of us maybe had the slight thought of Tsimikas is in at 3.9 when we knew that Robertson was potentially injured for Scotland, but it doesn't seem like that injury is going to keep him out for very long. So Trent is in there. I'm not going to go with Tsimikas, although I did consider it. Next up in my midfield, I add double Liverpool. So I have gone with triple Liverpool. Salah is in there. Of course, Salah's going to be in there. We won't chat about him for very long. And then Jota I've gone with. With Firmino looking to be out for 6 weeks or so until the middle of December, then he'll need a few weeks to come back. And then Mane and Salah go to the African Cup of Nations. It seems like Jota is going to be first choice in that Liverpool team, potentially until the end of January. And given his price of 7.5 million, I think he is an incredible asset to own. He was very frustrating at the start of the season for anyone who owned him. He missed chances. He got chances, but he did miss them. But I do think if he continues to get them, I do think this time around that he will be a good option to go with. So I've gone with him. It is Arsenal at home. Maybe not the best fixture to start on with a Liverpool triple up, but I'm still happy with them. And they are one of the best goal scoring teams in the league at the moment. To complete the midfield, we've gone with Son. I had to target those Spurs fixtures to some extent. Leeds at home, again, Son scored on international duty. If I could afford Kane, if I could get Kane in my squad, I probably would, but I just can't squeeze him in for the time being. So Son is in there, Leeds at home. Very happy with him. He is quite expensive, so whether he potentially goes to get Rashford or Ronaldo when Man U really have a good fixture run from game week 16 or so, that is a possibility, but the next 4 fixtures for Spurs are so nice, I had to have a piece of that pie on my wildcard. And then up front, the first one we've got, of course, is Antonio. I decided that I've got so much value tied up in him, I didn't want to let him go. Wolves away, then a couple of tough fixtures. I think Manchester City and Chelsea in the 2 matches after that. It is difficult for them as well as Brighton, but I've got so much value in him. West Ham continue to score goals. He can always be involved. And from game week 16, they have a really nice run of fixtures. So I will want Antonio back in my team then, so he stays for now. And finally up front, we've gone with Callum Wilson, who has Brentford at home in game week 12. Potentially a new manager bounce for Newcastle along with Tottenham. And they have a great run of fixtures for the next 4. Brentford this week, then away at Arsenal next week, not so great, but I still think they can score in that game. But then they go and play Burnley at home and Norwich at home. So 3 home fixtures in the next 4 against very plum fixtures of Brentford, Burnley and Norwich. I'm taking the gamble. I think Wilson can be amongst the points. He scored goals and got assists in a Newcastle team that couldn't score under a manager that didn't want to play attacking football. But now he's going to be in a system where I think there's a chance for a lot more goals anyway. And surely Wilson will be at the focal point of that. So that is my starting 11. And on the bench, I've gone with Livramento, Dyer and Davies. So Livramento I've gone with, of course, he rotates very well with Gallagher, so can come into my team when and if I want. Dyer is in there because I think he's probably the most nailed of those cheap Tottenham defenders. Between now and the end of the Christmas busy schedule, I think Tottenham have one of the best fixture runs. He can sit on my bench, but over that Christmas period, I think we will need our benches more than ever. So Dyer is there to come in because of how good their fixture run is and how much better they potentially look from a defensive point of view under Conte, and he has the occasional goal threat from a corner or something like that. I wish I could go up to the likes of Reguilon or Emerson Royale. I cannot find the money anywhere in my team to go and do that. If you can see an obvious place to downgrade to do Dyer to Emerson Royale, then do let me know, but I cannot see anywhere obvious at all to do it. So that is my wildcard team. Foster on the bench, of course. Cycling GK has to be in there. 4.1 million, penalty saving, starting goalkeeper, no brainer for him. And then Keenan Davies up front, 4.4 million, may occasionally get 5 minutes at the end for Aston Villa, so he's on there to sit last on my bench. But that is my team. It is basically a 14-man squad plus Davies. I'm very happy with it. I do just wish I could find the tiny bit more money to do Dyer up to the likes of Reguilon or Emerson Royale. But next, we've got to focus on captaincy. So there are three main captaincy options for me this week. Salah at home to Arsenal, of course, Wilson, Brentford at home, and Son at home to Leeds. Now, I don't necessarily think I trust a new manager bounce for Newcastle and Tottenham enough, although the upside for both of them is great if Salah does go and blank in what is a difficult fixture at home. But I am going to go with Salah. Salah is my captain at the moment. My vice captain is on Son, and that is the way I think it will stay come game week 12 deadline. Let me know your questions down below. We're not quite finished for the video, but let me know your questions and your captaincy for game week 12 in the comment section down below. And why not leave a like while you're doing that. So one final thing before we wrap up the video, we have had a bit of a change and a bit of announcement of the members area that has been launched for my YouTube channel as we've moved over to FPL Harry. These have been sort of there a few weeks, but really wanting to announce it to you all. There is two tiers. Tier 1, which is the Tipsters League, going back to my sort of FPL tips days, and then the Tier 2, which is called the Real TCs, as in the real MCs, but the real triple captains. Bit of an FPL spin on it. Thank you to the two guys who have already signed up without me having to announce it in Yash and Simply FPL. Basically, Tier 1 is just so you can support the channel. It gives you a badge for live streams and videos to make sure I always answer your questions in the comments down below, or if you're in a live stream, I will always do my best. Well, I will always make sure I answer your question and every question and comment you have in the chat. And the Real TCs. So this, you get to be put in a group chat on Twitter with me and with all the other Tier 2 members, which basically gives you a chance to chat to me as much as you want. I will be active in that Twitter group chat. I will also post my transfers exactly when I do them. So if I make my transfers on a Tuesday evening to catch a price rise, you will get that, whereas people on YouTube, people on Twitter won't necessarily get that. They may have to wait until I do a video or anything like that. So a couple of real benefits for the Real TCs. Tier 2, $4.99 for that, really helping to support the channel, as well as that Tier 1 at $1.99. Just a small thing, of course, no need to sign up. All the videos stay the same, but if you do fancy supporting the channel, then that would be great. On top of this, in December, we will be doing a charity giveaway. All the money that I earn in December will be given to charity, whether that's these memberships, whether it's super chats, or whether it's video sort of ad revenue, will all be going to charity. So if you do think about signing up, now would be a great time to do it, as we are about to start that charity month. So if you do enjoy the videos, do think about signing up. If not, why not just like and subscribe if you are new? There's plenty to come over the Christmas period with these busy schedules. There will be plenty more videos to come. Thank you all so much for your support. If I don't see you between now and then, good luck in game week 12, and I will see you all very soon.